Hello, everybody. We're live. Welcome to today's Social Media and AI Shortcuts. I'm Madeline Sklar. How you doing today? I've got some important updates and smart strategies to help you stay ahead, protect your content, and make better decisions with AI and social media. We're going to be starting with something really serious today. Facebook group shutdowns. Yes, it's been happening. It's quite shocking. And I'm going to share what Maury Smith has uncovered with this and what other people are saying about it. Then we got to talk about CapCut. I don't know if you've heard about this, but their new terms of service are raising eyebrows. And before you continue using it, you're going to want to hear what we're going to be discussing today. I'm also going to demo how I use Magi, my favorite all-in-one AI tool, to break down these types of legal terms of service so that we can get it into just plain English so we can understand it. Because that legal speak is hard to understand, and whenever I come across things like that, I like to just pop it into ChatGPT or just go into my Magi and use ChatGPT or one of the other tools and have it help me understand. I've also got a quick poll about a brand new ChatGPT training I'm trying to do. I really would like your input because it really helps shape what I build. I want to build things that help you. So getting your thoughts is always helpful. And before we wrap up today, I'll show you a powerful AI tip that you might be overlooking. I was overlooking it for a while and I started doing it a few months ago. It's a real game changer. Plus, we'll round up the hour with this week's most interesting social media news. So, hey, everybody, if you don't know me, I'm Madeline Sklar. I've been teaching social media, digital marketing for so long, many, many years, too many to count, decades, a lot of decades. I help you make smart, simple moves with your AI because let's face it, there's so much to learn with AI these days. It can get a bit too overwhelming. And I also help you with your social media too, because I've been doing that a long time. And I'm really great at helping people grow their presence on there without getting overwhelmed. And hey, if you'd like to work with me, do reach out. I love to chat with you. I love helping people. It's just something I'm very passionate about doing. I have so much knowledge, and I love when people like to take advantage of that with like a pick my brain session. So if you'd like to learn more about that, just reach out to me. And what I'm going to do is bring up our group of panelists for so far. I got Barb here with me. And by the way, people don't know, those that are our panelists that come on here to chat with me are people who are part of our community over at school, our social media and AI shortcuts community. So if you're part of that community, you're always invited to come on screen with us and hang out. So just keep that in mind. But otherwise, y'all are always free to just be in the live chat and comment with us and share your thoughts as we go through this. Hey, Barb, I'm glad you're here with us today. How are you?
I'm doing great, Madeline. And like you, I'm pretty perplexed about what came down on Facebook yesterday because you and I are both old timers when it comes to community building, and that really did a number on all of us.
It was shocking. Now, here's what's interesting. So I'm always doing multiple things. I don't just do one thing. I know you remember, Barb, back in my days when we met, when I ran my Go Girls music community, and I'm always doing multiple things. I don't try to, it's just how it is. And so gosh, when I was running Go Girls music, which really was my side passion project, although I did it basically full time. I basically had two full-time jobs as a digital entrepreneur. But I was also like teaching social media, teaching digital marketing and all these things. But now fast forward to 2025, what I've been doing the last several years, I'm still doing all this teaching social media. I really dove into AI. I love teaching AI stuff. But as you know, I don't run my Go Girls music community anymore. I did that for 21 years. I stopped that back in 2017, I think is when we basically closed the doors. I did it for a long time. It was time to have a different project. So my passion project is all the stuff I do in the Kratom community. If you're not familiar with it, just go to my podcast. I have a website for that at kratomstoriespodcast.com. You can learn more about my story of discovering this botanical that works far better for my chronic pain than pharmaceuticals ever did. And it's just a whole separate thing. It has nothing to do with this work that I do. But here's what's interesting, and why what Facebook did not surprise me, because in that community, because it's a botanical, and while it's not federally illegal, there is some gray areas. There are a handful of states that have made it illegal because of misinformation and propaganda. Don't even get me started on that, because I'm a big advocate for this plant. It doesn't even get you high. It's not, it's just, I don't even want to get into that right now because we have lots to talk about today. But because it's kind of a gray area thing on social media, there's a lot of censoring for it. And I've had my TikTok accounts deleted by TikTok. I've had issues with Facebook. Facebook did delete my Facebook group about a month ago, but it wasn't a big surprise to me because they've been doing that to basically everything in the Kratom community. And so this wasn't a shock for me as far as what I've been dealing with that. But the shocker is they're doing it to legit industries that have like no gray area, no issue. So like basically several days ago, Facebook took down huge AI communities. And it was shocking. So we're definitely going to have a big discussion about that today. But Barb, being like me, building online communities for many, many years, helping people build communities. Were you shocked when you heard about that in Maury's group?
Sorry, my mic is off. I was actually trying to share this out to more of my groups on Facebook because it's so important for all of our groups. I was spending so much time yesterday trying to keep people calm. And I heard it before because I have followed Jeff Walker for a long time. He's very well known, and
Yes,
and I heard his went down, and then
it did?
yeah, and I clicked on, and there was a notification for Mari's group, on Facebook, and so I went there, and that's when she had put her post down there, and I said, "Oh, it isn't just one person or two," and yeah, it was widespread. So, and then one of my dear friends who has his name is Andrew Kavanaugh, and he is actually with Adobe. But it's AI and digital art is in the name of the group. And I thought, given what I know about what's up with the AI at Meta, I'll bet anything it has to do with those groups that have AI invoked. And
Interesting.
yeah. And it came up to, there's a TechCrunch I think it was in Mari's shared the link with us in the TechCrunch article.
Okay.
And I think they actually mentioned that. But I pretty much figured that would happen if they turn that stuff loose. And that's why I clamped it down on all my groups. I don't let the Meta AI in at this point. It's too, there's beta and there's alpha. And I feel like there's different levels of beta, and it is just too soon.
Yeah. And we're going to have a more broad discussion on it. I just want to get your initial thoughts up front here in the intro, because it's just some crazy news that like AI groups, huge with hundreds of thousands of people in these groups, were just turned off. Like they just flipped a switch and turned it off. And it's like, but it's AI tools in Meta that caused it. So it's just like they're not even having their tools do things right. But I deal with that with TikTok all the time with my Kratom stuff. They have AI. Here's what's so crazy. So on TikTok, and this is just from me knowing how a lot of things work in digital marketing, and I figured out what they were doing. So what TikTok does, when you post a video, there's actually a little bit of a delay before maybe I'm flagged, and I definitely see that mine can sometimes take a minute or two. And what they're doing, what their technology is doing, is they're taking, what you're saying, and they're transcribing it in real time when it's uploaded. They do this with the TikTok lives too. They have certain words flagged. So if you say them, you get in trouble. Or if you spell it out, you get in trouble. Like you have to, it's just so many crazy rules that I've had to figure out over the last couple of years. And find my workarounds, because I will always find a workaround. There's pretty much nothing that's going to stop me in my social media and digital marketing stuff. I will always find a way around. Just like how we're on my Facebook right now. I don't know why it took me so long to realize that I want to be broadcasting on LinkedIn instead of Facebook. Like on StreamYard, I can only pick 3. And of course, YouTube and X, but I really I liked how I was doing Facebook for a while and getting lots of great feedback because I have such a large Facebook just on my personal profile. But I wanted to experiment and do LinkedIn. So I'm using LinkedIn for my third instead of Facebook. And it just dawned on me I could go to Barb, because Barb's always sharing this in her Facebook. And it's like, why don't I go to Barb's Facebook and just share it over to mine? So it's one of those duh kind of things, but I just didn't think about it till today, literally 10 minutes before we started the live stream. So we are on my Facebook too. And I appreciate y'all broadcasting this to your social media as well. Bez, I'm glad you're here with us. It's always great getting your interesting insights each week. Plus, you always find a way to throw something in from the 80s and 90s because we have so much fun with that. After that one time, we had that end up having like a long discussion, and it was so much fun. So thank you for being here.
We did have fun, and I mean, this is a fun group anyway. So how can I not be fun? I mean, it's just natural to be fun with Barb,
Right.
you, and Maria. I mean, we just cut it up, cut a rug, bust a move.
We still got to do that live stream we talked about when we had that big discussion about the 80s and 90s. And it just seems like such a fun idea.
Yeah.
What'd you call it? Back to the 80s, baby.
That's right. Back to the 80s, baby. I forgot. Thank you.
I had to write it down because I did not want to forget because it was such a great name. Hey, Maria, good having you back. We've missed you.
Oh my gosh, I have had such a crazy life lately, the last couple of months, with good stuff going
Good
on.
stuff.
And it's so
That's
funny
good.
you're talking about the 80s because I was just trying to update my profile photo here. And there was a photo I was putting in, and a friend of mine is in this band called Yachtly Crew.
Oh,
And
no.
oh my God, they're so great. I love them. So it's
What a
funny.
great name.
Yes,
That
yes,
is an
yes.
excellent name. Love
They're
it.
awesome.
We're glad you're here with us. We've missed you, and I always love hearing your thoughts and insights on everything we do in this discussion. So glad you made it back. We got like all kinds of things to talk about. We got some feedback though, Maria. I think that was coming in from yours. So just FYI. We got all kinds of things to discuss. First, just as a reminder, I always like to mention is we have our school community, skool.com. This is where we're able to continue our discussion separate from this, because, this is just a 1-hour thing each week. And you know what's crazy, y'all? So this time slot, Thursday at 1 o'clock Eastern, this was our Twitter Smarter time that, it all started with, this all goes back to Twitter Smarter back in the day. The Twitter Smarter 10-year anniversary is going to be a month from now. Like, I started the podcast first. Twitter Smarter podcast came out June 1st of 2015. And the Twitter chat version came out towards the end of July. So like around this time, but next month. So I can't believe I've been doing this time Thursday at 1 o'clock Eastern, something for this time slot for Twitter Smarter. It was 9 years of it. And then, we did this transition, and now it's social media and AI shortcuts. I'm just so wowed by, just this idea like, hey, I think I'll do a Twitter chat where I bring people together to talk about Twitter. And nobody else ever did it. I can't believe nobody in all the years ever did a Twitter chat about Twitter. I was the only one. But anyway, we continue our discussion separate from this once a week gathering here. Just go to skool.com/Madeline Sklar, and it's free. It's free. School is really cool. Didn't try to make it rhyme. It just did, but it's like a Facebook group, but without having to deal with Facebook and all their craziness that we're going to be talking about. You can see it's just very simple. It's we have a forum. We also have a little calendar section, so you can see all of our stuff. There's a classroom. There's all kinds of stuff on here. It's just a great way for us all to be connected and continue to stay connected. It's something I definitely recommend. Also, before we dive into our big discussion today about what's happening with Facebook, also want to show you, I have a poll over on my X account. It's so weird saying X. My X account on my, I'm still, all these years, I'm still not used to it. I'd rather just say Twitter. When you scroll down here, you'll see, look there, look how meta we are. There's the live stream. I have a poll just real quick. Y'all take a second to go over to my X now or do it later. And I'm just trying to find out from everybody, just probing questions. You know, I want to create a ChatGPT training. I know I've talked about this before in the past, but just didn't have enough time. I'm going to make the time. I'm going to do it because people are always asking me for help with ChatGPT. And I'm just curious. My first question is, I'll have other polls asking more questions. Right now, what format do people prefer? A live workshop series, a self-paced course, group coaching, or a quick start guide? I just put this post up before I started the live stream, and already it's showing the top two is self-paced course and quick start guide. But I like to create things that people are interested in. And so let me know, just take the quick poll. Let me know, like, you know, what your thought is on that, because I'm always loving to hear from our community. Great seeing people here. Resman is here on LinkedIn. Doing a shout out to Bez. And great having you here. My friend Venus from the Kratom community's here. Always great seeing you. Yeah, Gen Xers, we do rock. I'm barely a Gen Xer, y'all. I got, and I'm talking about on the older side. I know people think I look young, so people think I'm way younger. Then also lighting helps. You know, this lighting configuration, I really like it a lot because it really kind of smooths things out. But I do look really young for my age. But y'all, I was so close to being a boomer. Oh,
Really?
I want to be, and no offense,
Be
Barb. No offense,
careful.
Barb. I knew as soon as I
Be
said,
very careful.
I knew as soon as I said that you were going to unmute. And I don't mean I just mean I love my fellow Gen Xers. Gen Xers are just cool, and you're cool too, Barb. You're like a very cool boomer, I'll have to say. Very cool. So
Great save.
y'all know I love everybody. So anyway, we have got to talk about what's been going on with Facebook this week, because it is some crazy stuff going on. And I don't know if everybody's heard about this. I'm going to first play a short little video from Maury Smith. If you're not familiar with Maury Smith, she is widely known as the queen of Facebook. She was teaching Facebook before anybody else. She was even recognized by Facebook for this. I can remember a gazillion years ago, they actually hired her to go travel around the country and host in-person webinars teaching small businesses how to properly use Facebook for their business. And back then I was like, why doesn't Twitter do the same for me? Why didn't Twitter pay me to go around the country? Because I was always teaching Twitter. And I'm like, man, Twitter should look and see what Facebook does, because, you know, that's really smart, sending, you know, a top expert around to train people. Anyway, I've always been a big fan of Maury. I know her. Her and I have spoken on some really great stages together around the country at various social media conferences. And she's a great, great lady. And I always look to her for like what's going on in the world of Meta. And so she shared this to kind of give us some details of what's happening. So let me play this short video. Oh, I guess it'd help if I put the volume on. Hold on, let me start over.
Just recently, a whole bunch of Facebook groups got completely shut down, some with hundreds of thousands of members. Apparently it was a technical error, a loophole. Some AI bots came in and mass reported these groups to the point that AI took them down. Fortunately, they're all coming back now. But here are 3 really, really important measures that you put in place to make sure that you have a backup plan, because these social networks are rented land, no matter where you have your community. Number 1, email. My first ever ebook that I wrote, it came out in 2003, and it was about email marketing. Here's the thing. You have got to make sure that you have a way that people can opt in. They can subscribe. You've got compelling lead magnets. Maybe you have a Facebook group and you can use all kinds of different great systems out there. Group funnels is the one that I use, where you can ask for people's emails. You don't get 100% conversion, but some people like force the opt-in, but I don't like to do that with my group. You can come in whether you give me your email or not. But here's the thing. You want to have lots of great lead magnets all over the internet and over your website and other social bios. Number 2, you want to set up alternative communities. So I love Mighty Networks. That's my one of choice. So Mighty Networks, you've also got Circle, School, Kajabi. School is for online courses. I like Thinkific. There's Teachable, Learn Worlds. They have community elements built in them, but just communities. You've also got Kajabi and Go High Level build communities in there. Or you might want to just do more of a chat community and have something like Discord or Slack or Telegram, WhatsApp. Of course, WhatsApp's owned by Meta. So that's your thing. Number 2, alternative community. Number 3, diversify your social. Don't go all in on only one. If you just do nothing but Facebook and you get your group there, and anything could happen. You could get your profile, your page deactivated, all kinds of shenanigans. Then make sure that you are on at least one or more what I call non-Zuck platforms, right? LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, Snap, all the things. All right. Hope this is helpful. We'll see you in the next video.
That was such a good video, because what's really important here, I'm trying to make these videos stop playing on my end. Okay. You know, you can't rely on one platform because things happen. You should always have email, because or you need to have things you control. And I remember years ago when social media was getting big and people were like, email's dead, email's dead. Email's never been dead, because as Maury said so greatly, we're on rented land. And this is something I've been preaching and teaching for so long. You know, I've been teaching social media for 20 years now. And you have to always remember that you're on a site that is free for you to use. They have access to all your content, all your data, all that. You're actually the product for them because they have all of our data. But we sign it away. Who reads the terms of service? No one. If you pay close attention and actually read it, and I'm going to show y'all something really cool, like to get y'all paying more attention to terms of service, because we got a lot to talk about that with CapCut after this discussion. I'm going to show you how you can use ChatGPT or an AI tool to help you navigate and understand what this stuff means when you're using these tools. But when you're using these, they have the control. You have none. If they don't like what you post, they can delete your account. There's nothing you can do about that. And as I mentioned when we first started this discussion, you know, my passion project is something that does get flagged all the time. And I have to navigate through that. And it's incredibly frustrating to do. But I find my workarounds and I make it work. But to hear the news, like what Maury was saying at the top of that video, that Facebook had taken down all these huge groups with hundreds of thousands of people, and these groups defined. I don't know how many industries this affected, but this is we know for sure this affected various AI groups where people are coming together and learning about using AI. So have y'all heard of any other groups or industries where they're being affected this week with these groups being taken down? Because so far I've only heard of these AI ones.
I have not heard of any. What she just said scared me, because I have several Facebook groups, and just like you're saying, I diversify too, but it can be draining to put the content in all the different places. So, yeah, but what you just said kind of scared me, so I'm very interested in this conversation. I'm so glad that you are talking about this. Yeah, I've had the AI go through my community and bother some of the members on their posts, kind of, flagging words and such that were mistakes. And those are kind of hard to undo sometimes. But my groups did not get shut down. Yeah. Go ahead,
That's
Beth.
good. I mean, I don't think it was a widespread shutdown, but I'm trying to find, because I seem to have lost the link to the page I was going to show y'all. Maury Smith had a post in her group and really explaining a lot of what happened. It seems like it was an AI thing, like an AI glitch, because they're using AI to flag things. And as I was mentioning a little while ago, it's really big on AI in TikTok. TikTok uses AI very heavily. And actually what happens a lot of times with my content over there for my kratom stuff, which again is a gray area thing to begin with, so it's a more common thing. Whereas if I'm just posting my AI or social media stuff, I don't think it would be something that'd get flagged. But hold on, I'm trying to multitask so much here that it's making me mess up. So
Do you need a producer? We got few producers on stage.
I think
for
I'm
you.
getting to the point where I do need one. Well, I messed up here because I thought I had the right link and I didn't, but I found it. So let me just, I don't want to sit here and keep rambling. Let me just show y'all what I want to show y'all. But it's just AI, these platforms are using AI tools to flag things. It's definitely something where instead of having things manually checked in a process, they're using AI on the front end to catch all these things that they deemed as inappropriate or sensitive content. And then they just take it down. You get a notice saying, hey, this has been flagged. We removed it. You can appeal. And I get that a lot with TikTok. You can appeal it. You go appeal it. And now a person comes and manually checks it. And with me on my TikTok with that type of content, like 80% of the time, they fix it because it's obvious AI is not doing it right. They're taking something and it's not in proper context, I guess, the way it's reading it. And then you got to wait for a person to come in and obviously, okay, yeah, you won your appeal, and then they put your content back. And there's been times where it took hours. There's been times where it takes days. And they've done it with comments too. They've done it on my comments over there. But they're using AI tools to do this. And I'm sure Facebook's been doing stuff like this with AI tools. Barb, do you know like how long they've been incorporating AI for moderation? Everything used to be manually done, and it seems like AI is doing most of the moderating.
I think the first that we were introduced was back in 2022. And how they do these things is they roll them out slowly in various. I'm in a community that is to be a member in it. You are literally hunted down and appointed to the community by Meta, or in my day, I've been in there so long, by Facebook. And those are the groups, the people who run those groups, those are typically the groups that they're tested in first, because they know that those kind of people have dealt with beta for a long time. But it's been a couple years since the very first things we had. I love some of the AI tools that I have, but just today I found some of the others faltering. Because for instance, I automatically post lineup posts for each week to introduce the new members in the groups. That's very common for many of us to do that. And it actually, that list it provided, and I never stopped to think because I thought it was all automated, all computerized. And today, what I found, it had members who had not come in after the deadline from last week. It was actually before, and it had them on my list, and the ones that were on the list this morning. There was a list published this morning, but the people who actually came into the group yesterday were not on that list. So there's something, there's glitches going on, and very much things like that. But it has to do with the admin assist tools that we have, which I wouldn't want to be without to save me after, I have different size groups, but they're in the thousands, and they make all the difference in the world in getting stuff done in a day. But this thing, where it's just what brought out yesterday, they're hunting. The AI is hunting for keywords.
Yeah.
And like, I'm a firm believer in using AI, especially because one of the things that we're all told to do to create get to create the activity in our groups is to add images to our posts, videos to our posts, and so forth. And now a lot of that can be done with AI, those images and the videos. And so, and I embrace that kind of stuff, but I also pay attention and use of tools. But if you said AI in there, that keyword is there for the robots to pick up on. So
Gotcha. And we can't disable these AI tools, right? I mean, this is something that like Meta
yeah,
has in there
yes.
that's doing it. So here's the post that Maury had posted the other day. And if you're watching on your phone, this will be kind of small. It says, has Facebook shut down your group recently? Wow, this is from Jeff J. Hunter, Facebook group with 3.5 million members, disabled, removed, no reason, no recourse. And Austin Armstrong says at least 4 Facebook groups I know were taken down today, including one of mine. I believe all of these were AI related sites. And then Maury, just like in the video, says, friends, we must remember all social media platforms are rented land. We do not own our audience here, nor have any real control over the outcomes. And this is exactly why I started using the school platform. So let me explain, going back to my TikTok issues I've had. My current TikTok for my Kratom community was deleted out of the blue, no warning. It was very strange. So this is about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. One day out of the blue, it's gone. And people have warned me and say that that's very common for them to delete our accounts like that. But it just came out of nowhere. Usually you get warnings. There was no warnings, no strikes. I had nothing. So they deleted it. So the day that happened, I'm like, okay, I'm going to set up a new TikTok because that's not going to stop me. And on the same day, I went and signed up for a school so I could have a group for my Kratom community. And I'm so glad I did it. It cost me money. So, some of these communities, these programs, like Maury mentioned, there's also Circle. Kajabi now has community integration, although I don't like the way they did it. Mighty Networks, she uses that one. There's all these different platforms. They're not free, but here's the thing. If you use one of these, like me using School, I have all the control. So I would rather pay the money so that I get to have the control so I can build a community there. I'm still in social media. Social media is still a great way to connect with people. I mean, I still have the same mentality as I did decades ago, where I tell people your social media is where you cast the wide net. You use social media to go connect with people all over the place, and then you bring them to you with your website, with your email list, or your own community that you own that no one can take away from you. So my school community, I have 2 of them. I got this one here for social media and AI shortcuts, and I have one for my Kratom community. I call it Kratom Real Talk. And they're 2 separate ones, and I pay for both of them, and I have them set to be free, so it doesn't cost anybody anything to be on there. Now, School lets you charge a fee if you want. I can be a paid community. You decide. But I've chosen to just make it be a place where people can come together and we can have conversations, and I don't want there to be a barrier. If I charge a fee, there'll be a barrier. So it just, for me, is the peace of mind that this is something that a tech bro or a tech company or billionaire cannot take away from me, like they can with our Facebook, like they can with TikTok and all these other tools. So with what Facebook just did, I think a lot of people's eyes just got woken up. Like, okay, this is happening to others. It could happen to me. And could you imagine? I mean, when I think back to some of my old Facebook groups, I was doing Facebook groups when groups first, I remember like, why is there no feature where we can bring people together? Because I had built, my Go Girls music in the 90s, and it was always waiting for technology to make it easier to connect with people and bring a group of people together. Back when I started that community, it was a static web page and an email list, and that was it. And watching the evolution, I remember it was amazing when e-groups came out, and you could and it became Yahoo groups later. And it was like, wait a minute, I can send one, very much like a bulletin board back in the day. I can send one email and everybody in our group gets it. And then when somebody replies, the whole group gets it. I mean, in the late 90s, that was revolutionary. It's funny looking back, but it's like, I remember when Facebook was getting really popular, and it's like, gosh, it'd be a great way to have this for business. It'd be a great way to have this for community. But we had to wait for them to do these things. So with Facebook groups, I jumped on that. I had all these different things I built with that. I can't imagine losing that today, like all the hard work you put in to bringing people together in a community wherever you build it, and having it just, somebody flipped a switch and it's gone. Now, I believe some of these groups are getting reinstated. Has anybody heard about that?
Yes, they're pretty much all back up at this point, and with apologies from Meta. But I think, I might be a little bit different from you, but I've been doing communities a bit longer as well, and that is communities are people to people. And what we have are just tools to work with. And we really, when Facebook came along, we got the best there was available at the time. But what you all have to realize, that even when Madeline says go to school, or we say, or Mari says go to Mighty Networks, those are on servers as well.
Yes.
They are not serving 3.3 billion people, 3.3 billion members. And you really have to know your audience and what, your why for actually sharing your information, where you should be. I hooked up with Madeline again because it's like I'm at a stage in life where I can't start from day one, and I may not be here that long to help keep the community going. But as long as I am, I know that she's staying ahead of the game. And if you have somebody like Mari in your life, and I kind of, and me too a little bit, is that you can keep your mind sharper. And the older you get, it's harder to do. So baby boomers, if you're with me.
Well said, Barb. Well said.
So Mari lets the Gen Xers and the baby boomers in there, and every once in a while we talk about doing disco and stuff. So we really get back cool. There.
Yeah, here's the post that Maury had mentioned, and so this is from Valentin Molina, and so he had posted, this was on Tuesday, so it's just a couple of days ago, y'all, when this happened. Mm-hmm. Facebook just disabled the 3.5 million member AI group that they had built and poured tons of resources into. This happened overnight, no warning, no explanation, no real appeal process. Now they say our technology made a mistake suspending your group. So yeah, with the AI is not doing it properly. And interesting how this affected AI groups. Bit meta, right? It says, but they were not alone. So Jonathan Mast, and I'm on his Facebook group, 400,000 plus, his AI group got disabled, is back up now. Another one was also disabled. So they said, but within all of them, that's 4 million members wiped out. And it says, we're also hearing reports of tons more: parenting, gaming, business, and support groups, all wiped clean, accused of violations that never happened. Come to find out, this may not be random. Some suspect a mass report hit job coordinated false reports, triggering Facebook's AI to auto-flag and remove innocent groups. And once it happens, good luck getting human support that can actually do something. Here's what we know. Millions of people lost their communities overnight, years of valuable content erased, admins and creators locked out of personal accounts, businesses and movements thrown into limbo, because a lot of people rely on their Facebook group. They have nothing else. If anybody is utilizing a Facebook group in any kind of business, like that's monetized or something that's supports you as a business, you've got to rethink this, because this is where school is. I might need to, if enough people are interested, I can definitely teach a class on how to use school. I mean, I've really mastered it. I'm in multiple groups. I've started two of my own. I've been using it for several years now. It's a great tool. You definitely get that peace of mind.
I'm going to take you up on that.
Yeah, I think I might have to start doing that, because I think this is a wake-up call for a lot of people now. It also goes on to say, let's be honest, this isn't a glitch, it's a pattern. This isn't the first time we've had problems and just got the cold shoulder. There was no real support, no accountability, no real recourse. We're the ones who built Facebook's most engaged ecosystems, and we're treated like we don't exist. Hopefully we'll get our groups back, but here's the truth. They can't erase what we build next. That's key. I love that. So this is like really something
That's
that
great.
everybody needs to think about, because this is a big deal, you know.
Well, Madeline, you mentioned WhatsApp a few minutes ago, and we know that's a Meta product.
Yes.
I've been on WhatsApp for years, and I don't like it very much because the groups kind of go a little crazy with too much talking. But I'm getting so many international people that
And
have
you
been
will
requesting
with
it.
that.
I
Yeah.
just started one on WhatsApp. It's the Gratitude Unleashed group thing over on WhatsApp. But you're scaring me now because
It's a
Meta
meta,
is
it's a meta,
practicing.
it's a
Yeah,
meta own thing.
we're a
So
big experiment.
Hey,
yeah.
hey, WhatsApp actually changed. It used to be you can only have 254 people in a group, but now they have communities, so you can do an overarching community and like subgroups under, like groups under there. So they've organized it differently, and it looks a lot better. But yeah, it's still for me, anything like that is top of funnel. It could go away tomorrow, like X, Twitter to X, and so many other things. I think a lot I know a lot of people. Keith Keller was one that he was devastated when, like, he's really doesn't do much on X anymore. For him, there's a demarcation point when it was Twitter and when it became X. And it's just not for him anymore. But some people, like you said, Madeline, were making money, and they had to
Yeah.
pivot. They had to think about this. They were always building on rented land. That's why I went and bought my own community platform. I have on Go Brunch. So like my true community, I send them there. Everything else is top of funnel.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, you have to really look at this. You know, if this is a business, you got to really think about, where do you have your, you know, how are you doing this exactly, and what's the rented land, and say to yourself, if I lose this piece of rented land, how will that affect my business? If it's going to hurt your bottom line, go get set up on school. Trust me, it's worth $99 a month, because you have complete peace of mind, and you will never have. And here's the thing too, with school, is so much more than just a forum. You can put classes in there if you want. Why is it? How did? Oh, did I like? I was like kind of going like this. I guess I thought I did the thumbs up. You know, how these cool features with I don't know. There's all these like things you can do. If you do the hard, it'll do like, I haven't done this in a while. It's a StreamYard. I don't know. I'm not. Because I got other stuff we got to get into next. Definitely the CapCut stuff. But I can have online courses in there I can set up, and I can charge a fee for them. Like I have mine as a free community, but I want to put some paid training in there, because if those that want some additional training, then they can go in there, and I can set it up, and I can charge a fee. I can do have it set up for, like, you know, coaching. I can do all kinds of things. There's so much flexibility, and they're always adding new features. And right now, they're working on making it easier for native videos. Instead, normally, if you have a video, you have to have it on your YouTube or Loom or somewhere else, and you just put the link in. But they're going to have native video upload available in the next month or two, and they're also going to have a live stream feature, which they don't. You know, normally my live streams are YouTube and X and some of these other platforms, but I would actually be able to do it in there, so I can have this my free social media and AI school that I have, but I can start doing like a special training thing and say, hey, y'all, if you want this special thing, come over here to school. I've got this special live stream we're going to do. It's $20. Go sign up. And it's just for, you know, whoever's in there that signs up. There's so much flexibility in making it work well in your business. So definitely recommend. If anybody has questions on it, just let me know. Real quick, Venus was asking, can you download the info from your groups? You know, it depends on what kind of content you have. I mean, really any content you have should be backed up elsewhere anyway, I think. And if it's not, then yeah, I would definitely suggest people be backing up their content. An example, back with my old Go Girls community, and this was just because we didn't know, but back in the MySpace days, we never thought MySpace was going to go away. It was huge. It was as huge as like how today you would never think Facebook will go away. There was a time, and some of y'all will remember, some of you older folks, not the young ones, because y'all don't even remember MySpace or you're too young to remember. MySpace just went away one day, gone. And a lot of us used the blog feature. And guess what happened when MySpace went away? If you had any blog posts in there and you didn't have them backed up anywhere else, you lost it forever. And I will never forget. I was always good at having backups. But there was this one time I had this copywriter do this, PR lady do this really cool press release for me. It was back when other people started getting our Go Girls Music logos a tattoo. I did it first, but then other people wanted to. I didn't tell anybody to do it, but a lot of people did it. I mean, right now, I mean, even though, it's not an active community, and there's like 30-something people around the country that got our logo tattooed on them. I have multiple ones here. This upside down because it's right here. That was our logo. Go Girl. Can't really see it there. Anyway, it was kind of like this movement. Like people felt so strongly about our community, they wanted to have the logo as a tattoo. And so I had to. Once we got to I think it was 10 of us, I just couldn't believe anybody would do it. But they saw that I did it and they wanted to do it too. And then I would joke and say, I could be a cult leader. Haha, it was a joke. After we had about 10 or 12, I went to my copywriter, a friend. I said, wouldn't this be something in People magazine or Oprah? Wouldn't somebody be interested in and mind y'all, this was the early 2000s. But it's wouldn't there be some interest that here's an online community that promotes, supports, and empowers female musicians, and members are all just getting a tattoo of the community logo because they want to. I mean, it really it was a powerful statement back then and this was before tattoos were nearly as common as they are now.
That's
and
awesome.
my friend, who was always very blunt to the point, says, no, nobody's going to be interested in that. I'll write you a great press release, sure. But she says, you're not going to get national interest in a story like that. I'm like, okay, well, all right. I just could see it in People magazine because it's just cool. It was very different. But back then, you never heard of something like that happening. But she wrote me this incredible press release, and this by the time MySpace went away, I don't know how many computers I had prior. I could not find a backup of it, but I had it on that MySpace blog of mine. And I hated that I lost it forever because I just remember it was a really cool press release. It was written really well. And so my wake-up call to things like this happened a very, very long time ago. This happened back in the MySpace days. I'm like, okay, always have a backup of your stuff because these platforms can go away. This rented land that we're on can go away. And you don't want to, if you have really good content, you don't want to lose it. Anyway, we got to get to the CapCut stuff because I just want to make sure we get to some of these other things. I wanted to play this video, but it's probably, I'm going to play part of it. I don't think we'll have time to play the whole thing. It's 7 minutes long, but I'll just start at the beginning. I'll play it at 1.25, so it'll be sped up just a little bit. But y'all got to hear about the latest with CapCut. I don't know. Does anybody here use CapCut as a video editing tool? It's owned by ByteDance, which is the parent company of TikTok. So I know a lot of TikTok people use this. I know just a lot of people in general use CapCut. I do not use CapCut. I've been using, because I've been doing all this stuff for so long, I've been using video tools on my computer and on my phone way before CapCut came around. So I use one called Video Shop that I love a lot for my phone. And for computer, I use Camtasia, which is a very high-end video editing tool. And these are just my preferences. But I know CapCut's very popular. Well, they just changed it. But just keep in mind, the company that owns TikTok owns that too. And if TikTok goes away, and that still can happen, Trump had to do another, add more time to it. Like a couple of days ago, I think it was last week, the cutoff came back again. And he keeps adding more time to it. So it could still go away. And if TikTok goes away, CapCut goes away too. They're all owned by the same company, ByteDance. Okay. Terms of service have changed, and a lot of people are sounding the alarm. They're really freaked out. So I'm going to play a little bit of this video so you can hear what's happening.
If you use CapCut to edit, or you're even thinking about using CapCut to edit, you really need to watch this video. Hey there, I'm Kevin Colby, and just for disclosure, I've never used CapCut. I don't use CapCut. I use Final Cut Pro. Just in case you wonder, what do you use? I use Final Cut Pro. CapCut has recently changed their terms of service. Personally, I'm going to tell you, if I used CapCut, I would stop using CapCut. But I want to call this to your attention because I find this insane. So if you're ever curious about terms of service on anything you use, most of the time, they'll put terms of service at the footer of a website. So you go all the way down there and look for terms of service. Typically, whether you use a service for paid or free, there's terms of service. Facebook has terms of service. YouTube has terms of service. You get the idea. But when I went there, here's what I saw. Now, there's something that's very key here. And if you notice right there at the top, it says last updated June 12th, 2025. If you're never sure, if you're looking at the current terms of service, always look at when is the last updated. And some people don't know this. CapCut is owned by the same company that owns TikTok, ByteDance, which I've always thought is ironic that people get wound up about TikTok. Full disclosure, I can't stand TikTok. I tried TikTok 3 different times, and I decided after the 3rd time I was deleting it. I was done. In my opinion, it's a horrible platform. But the same company owns CapCut, and I've always thought it was ironic that people get wound up about TikTok and they just sign up for CapCut. And whether you use a free or paid plan with CapCut, these terms of service apply to you. So this isn't to scare you. It's just to alert and alert you. And I want you to see how far down they have buried this. I mean, this is real time. I'm going down. It may take me a second to find it again. In fairness to ByteDance and CapCut, when you're using a service, they're giving you the rights to use it, free or paid, and they have some things you can and cannot do. That's cool. So it says right here that they're upfront that you own your intellectual rights, which means basically anything that you're submitting, anything you're creating, you own. But I want you to go right down here. You further grant us and our affiliates, agents, services, providers, partners, and other connected third parties a royalty-free, fully transferable, including sub-licensable, worldwide license to use your username, image, and likeness to identify you as the source of any user content, including for use in sponsored content. It's very important you pay attention to that by using the service and uploading anything, you are giving them the rights worldwide to use all of that. And then the next paragraph, for the avoidance of doubt, the rights granted in the preceding paragraphs of the section include, but are not limited to, the right to reproduce sound recordings. Then they get into some specific things. This means that you are granting us the right to use your user content without the obligation to pay royalties to you or any third party. And then they go
For any musicians out there, this is very concerning. Very, very concerning. So let's stop for a second with that.
on and spell out some other things. Again, what they're saying is by you using CapCut to create, you're giving them the right that they can use your stuff to sell, and they don't even have to pay you anything, or other royalty participants that may be involved either knowingly or otherwise in the creation of user content. So you're also saying by using it that CapCut could have a third party unknowingly use your content. This is the other one. Waiver of rights to user content. By uploading or making available user content to or through the services, you waive any rights to prior inspection or approval of any marketing, advertising, or promotional materials related to such user content. That means if they decide to use anything you've done, you've waived the rights. You can ask, hey, can I see that? No. Can I approve that? No. We or authorized third parties reserve the right to cut, crop, edit, or reuse to upload your content in our or the sole discretion. If you use CapCut, again, free or paid, you are giving CapCut the right to use your content however they want to, whether they use it to promote CapCut or unknowingly, I love that term, that legal term, unknowingly, a third party uses it. They can make money off of that. They can even sell it. And you are giving them your rights to do that in perpetuity, which I've learned from Shark Tank means forever. It does. Worldwide, anywhere. I personally think this is crap. Again, it's their platform. It's one of the reasons I use Canva. There was a time where I went to Adobe Express because I thought, oh, this is kind of cool. I had a lot of the same features until Adobe pulled the same thing. Adobe added to their terms of service that basically anything you uploaded, get this, even if it was commercial work, even if it was confidential commercial work, some people do that and they can't share the work because, they're working for a client. The client doesn't want their stuff out there. Adobe reserves the right to use your work to train AI, their AI tools. And I thought, you've got to be kidding. There was no opt out. So I thought, well, then I'll just stop using Adobe Express. In fact, since I edit on Final Cut Pro, I don't use any Adobe stuff anymore. I did edit on Premiere once. I really liked it. I got tired of what I call paying the rent, so that's why I went to Final Cut Pro, because I can buy it and own it. Again, if you use CapCut, or you're thinking of using CapCut, please read the terms of service, and then you decide if you're okay with that. Because here's the thing: any service you use, even ones I recommend, read the terms of service for yourself. Maybe I missed something. I will only recommend something if I've used it, or I'm using it and I have some experience with it. Whenever you use an app, you use a service, you use a product, whatever, read the terms of service. Because when you agree to use the service, whenever you download it and start using it, you've agreed to that, whether you like it or not. And then you have control of whether you use it or not. Personally, I'd stop using CapCut. I think this is insane. Make sure you read the terms of service, protect yourself, and more importantly, protect your work, because it's your work. It's your creative noggin that's put that out there to the World Wide Web.
All right. I ended up playing the whole thing because it is so important, and I played it at the 1.25 speed so we could get through it quicker. After him highlighting all those different, and there's multiple videos like that out. You just go to YouTube, put in, CapCut terms of service or TOS. Lots of people have been putting out videos in the past day or two on this. And it's just a reminder. I know none of us look at the terms of service on any of these platforms. Whenever somebody does and shares posts or videos like this, it's always shocking. It's like, it says that in there. We're not going to have time today, so I'm going to save this for next week. But what I want to do next, and we'll do it next time, is I'm going to show you how we can very easily go take those terms of service, put in the ChatGPT, and have it explain it to us. And so I've been doing that more and more because it's important. And then you can ask it probing questions. So for the musicians out there, there's some really scary stuff in there. They go so far into actually mentioning like the different, if you're not a musician, you won't know this, but performing rights, they're called PROs, performing rights organizations. And they list all that out. And that could interfere with the money the artist makes through those organizations, and to the point that they spelled it all out in the terms of service. When I saw that, I'm like, whoa, I gotta let my musician friends know about that. So you could put all this in the ChatGPT and ask it, have it summarize it, and then ask it, I'm a musician, how would this affect me? Or I'm a content creator, and I do, I have sponsors and I do this or I do that. Have it explain it for your situation. So we'll dive into that next week, so we can really see like how easily we can harness the power of AI to help us understand these things. So yeah, we'll have to skip a couple of those things. Real quick as we wrap up, there were two pieces of social media news I wanted to share, and I'll just do this real quick because it'll just take a moment to do. So let me switch to the screen I want to show you. When you're live streaming, it's a process. And so I have to, I probably do need like Bez says, I probably need a producer. I'm not that fancy though. I feel like that's when I would be super fancy to have like somebody in the background doing all this. All right. So there's some news I just heard that Instagram is now allowing reels to be up to 20 minutes long. So this was a post of somebody talking about that you can upload up to 20 minutes long. And everything I show here in this live stream, I will have it linked in the YouTube description a little later. So like the video I just showed talking about the terms of service, some of you may be going, oh, I need to share that video. I know somebody that needs to see that uses CapCut. I know we're broadcasting all over the place right now. We're on multiple Facebooks, LinkedIn, YouTube's, X. Go to my Madeline Sklar, at Madeline Sklar. Just like school, everything is, just put my full name, Madeline Sklar. You go to school.com/Madeline Sklar to come over to our school community, but also to my YouTube. Go to youtube.com at Madeline Sklar. That's me. And in the description for this YouTube live stream video, I will have the links to everything, including this stuff too that I'm showing you. So also the other piece of news that I just came across, for those that utilize YouTube, they're now going to let everybody have the ability to create a community. There's a community feature in YouTube. I am not a fan of using community features in we're not going to say X. Maria, I know you're big with the X communities, and I don't mean X. X is a way for us to have a free community, but the paid communities, you can have a paid community in YouTube. It's like Patreon. And so YouTube has it. Multiple platforms have that. I know TikTok has it. The thing is that nobody seems to understand is, like, if you have a YouTube community, or like the subscription, that subscription feature you can have, right?
It's an experiment again, just like when they were trying to put podcasting on YouTube. That whole it didn't work and it went away. Or Facebook tried it, but
Yeah.
paying for I don't know. Yeah.
But you don't get the, like, when people, like, okay, let's say you have a community like on TikTok, or where people can subscribe to like get paid, like very much like a Patreon. So you can do it on TikTok, you can do it on YouTube. YouTube's just opening up to everybody now instead of just a small group of creators. So if I'm paying, I was like, oh, I want to subscribe to your community and be part of your paid community. You pay, let's say you pay $5. Well, you're assuming the content creator is getting the $5 from you every month, right? No, YouTube is keeping a chunk. TikTok keeps a big chunk. They all keep a chunk of this. So as a creator, you're not getting all of that. You're getting a percentage. And I just feel like, you know what? I'd rather have
they
a
make
school
money
community.
on my efforts.
So see, you could go set up a school, make it a paid community. All that school's going to do is take out the processing fee of the credit card. They're not going to keep any. You get it all. And like Patreon keeps some. A lot of these things keep some of it, and that's how they make money. And it makes sense. But when you're the one paying it because you love this creator, you have no idea that the company that has the platform is keeping a chunk of that.
Yeah. How much are they taking? Do you know, on YouTube?
I don't know. I just had read that they are now allowing all creators to utilize the community feature. So I just want to just share that piece of news, because there's always like just little pieces of social media news here and there that I want to make sure people are aware of.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
So yeah, just good to know. I mean, my understanding is, like, you've got the community tab, or what, you got the post. See, that it's where it gets kind of confusing, because community and
Actually, I was on beta for the communities on that, and they'd switched to posts. Only in the last year and a half that they've turned the word community, that tab, into posts. They only gave the community tab to their beta group, creator group, for a long time. I was called in on that, and I got to tell you, it's just like we were talking about Facebook today. That infrastructure needs to be there, and it's not there. It's like you were explaining about school, and you had all these different things you could do with it. There's nothing beyond the community besides the tab. And then they're saying, well, we'll also make it so you can pay for it. You also have to sign up for it now because from your YouTube on your mobile device. It's not from your from the computer. And yet it's like, the other thing that's real interesting is less than 10% of Meta members sign on from computers. That continues to floor me. They sign on from smart devices. It's under 10% that actually signs on to Meta with computers.
That's become the trend. I mean, that's actually very common now.
But
I know for us older folks, I still prefer doing computer over mobile, because everything's so damn small on a mobile, right? As we age,
exactly.
it's harder to read this stuff on the phone. And so I mean, I prefer my computer. I mean, I even have a MacBook Air just so I can walk around easily with my big laptop, because it weighs nothing. And I pick that over mobile all the time when I'm just at home, because it's just so much easier. But Yes, mobile is going to be the most common on every platform. And what I find interesting is when I watch my YouTube analytics, I love the YouTube mobile app. They give you so much analytic stuff that's easy to consume. And TV is becoming really popular now. And so when I look at my analytics from I have my Madeline Sklar YouTube, but I'm hyper focused on my Kratom one because I'm putting out so much content over there. I spend a lot of time on this, and it's been working out really well with what I'm trying to do in advocating and educating people. And when I look at the stats, it just blows me away that number 1 is mobile, number 2 is TV, number 3 is
Over
desktop.
computer. TV over computer.
Yes.
That is
And
strange.
I think the reason why is because with that particular channel I do a lot of different things on that channel. So I have videos, I have shorts. I've been taking my TikToks and put them into shorts, and that's doing really well and getting a lot more attention to my channel. But my big thing is a live stream I do there. And people tell me they love watching it on their TV, on their big screen. And either their smart TV or they're doing the Roku or people
It's like you're in the room with them.
Yes, and they
Yes.
love it. They love it. And I'm like, oh, I have a smart TV. I never think to go watch on YouTube. And it's actually quite an experience watching YouTube stuff on the big screen. So if anybody hasn't done it, I don't know if it's just more of a younger crowd that
Yeah, I do.
or
I
the older
watch.
crowd. I never thought to do it until probably last year. And I'm like, oh, what a nice experience this is.
I think I've been using the smart TV for almost 10 years. I remember right when it very first came out. I know in both my resort property, I've got all smart TVs running off of the internet. And back here at my home here now, I've done the same kind of thing. Watching is one thing. But
Yeah.
I will tell you that on my favorite live just like what we're in right now, I said, it's so much easier to watch on the big screen. And
Especially,
I had
if it's not interactive, then it makes sense.
Yeah,
Right.
but I had a type where you actually got a keyboard with it, and I could be at the big screen and with the keyboard Wi-Fi, you could actually contribute comments and stuff like we do on StreamYard.
Oh,
So
cool.
I definitely think that's the way it's all going. And what's really strange is just how big podcasting. I mean, podcasting has been there ever since we started, and it's like didn't seem to catch on, and now it's major huge, and it's because they've added the video side of it.
Well, I see a comment, by the way, by Roxanne in the chat about casting from her phone to the big TV.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
possible. That would take the interaction, that would make it possible for you to interact, and it would show on your screen too.
Right.
But thank you, Madeline, so much for this live stream. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
your
I love
show and
doing
your
that.
effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
I
how we
gotta
get together
go.
and chat. Yeah, it was great
Yeah.
seeing everybody. We're wrapping up here, so we'll be back next Thursday, and we'll continue the whole terms of service. I'm going to show you how I use AI, how I go into Magi and utilize that to have it explain to me all of that legalese that I don't understand. So we'll dive into that next week. Plus, whatever else we come across, whatever I come across in the next week, and if y'all have stuff to share, let me know. Reach out. And if anybody would like to work with me, is looking for any assistance with your social media or AI, reach out to me. I'd love to chat with you. And we'll be back next Thursday to do this again. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.